It has been a long time. I'm literally starting something new. I'm about to start a podcast, like a video. I don't want to call it a podcast. More like a YouTube channel that I might extract audio from. Where's my remote? And I'm about to film my intro. Um, Doing everything myself. Got my own equipment, might as well. Um, I am going to. Oh, I already made like the intro sequence, teaching myself Premiere Pro, little After Effects, that type stuff. So I'm about to stop giving myself time to make excuses and just do it. So last night I made or yesterday I spent time making the intro thing, and then last night I wrote like a script for the intro and like just got out all of my ideas what I want to talk about, and was sitting there like, oh, maybe I'll start this on my birthday, which my birthday is only like a week or so away. Um, but I woke up this morning and was like, why am I giving myself time to talk myself out of things? Um, the more I sit on it, the more excuses I'm gonna find. It's a beautiful Friday here in Dallas, so my door is open and people are at the pool and whatnot. Um, so it's kind of loud outside, but I was cold, so I opened the door. What was I about to say? So yeah, it's not random because I feel like um God has been nudging me. Okay, so let me give you some backstory, which I'll probably put this in the video too. But I moved to Dallas kind of on a whim. Um, it was like planned but not prepared, if that makes sense. Like I had nothing prepared. And neither did anybody else. I didn't move here by myself. Um, we just kind of was like, let's get there and we'll figure it out. And that's exactly what happened. We got here. First of all, before we even got here, we couldn't find a place to live. And so maybe like 2 weeks before we were scheduled to leave and everybody needed to be out of their apartments and everything, we still didn't have a place to live. We had an office space. So if push came to shove, we had a place to put our things, but we didn't really have a place to live. And there were five of us. So finding a place for five people to live was a lot. And everybody's entrepreneurs, and they were giving us a hard time of like, where this income coming from? What do y'all do for a living? Like five young black people, um, trying to get a decent sized place with money that they couldn't trace back to a regular 9 to 5. I don't know. They was treating us like drug dealers, honestly, and everybody's legit. I don't know how y'all do this. Like get ready with me and be talking. Also, I'm super. Side note, I'm super tan right now. I just came back from St. Martin, so none of my makeup is my color, but we're gonna make it work because I can manipulate the damn camera if nothing else. What was I even talking about? I don't know. Moving to Dallas. Um. Oh, getting to my point. See, it's gonna be hard to start a YouTube channel because the way my brain is set up. Okay, so anyway, long story short, moving to Dallas was not easy. It did not go as planned because there was no real detailed plan. I'm talking about a group of people who one just trust each other or trusted each other, That's a whole nother story. But but we know what each other are capable of, and we was like, look, with all of us together, like we can't mess this up. So let's just do it. Um and so we probably could have planned a little bit more, a little cocky, but we figured it out. So a lot of stuff happened in between then and now. That was May of, what does khaki mean? That was May of 2021. It is now May of 2023. Look at that. Kismet. So a lot of stuff happened in between then, but I'm gonna go into detail, not well, somewhat detail. Oh, khaki is cocky in Boston. I've never been to Boston. I do love the accent though. I'm originally from St. Louis. If I didn't say that before, so I'm talking about how I got to Dallas. Um, so yeah, it was a group of us. My brother is in real estate, and he was expanding his real estate business to Dallas for obvious reasons. Antarctica, St. Louis. No, is there a St. Louis and St. Louis, Missouri, the middle of the United States of America? Um, It's so funny because we don't claim Missouri. Like if you hear somebody, if you ask somebody from St. Louis where they're from, they're just gonna say St. Louis. They're never gonna, yeah, Midwest. They're never gonna say Missouri. And it wasn't until I moved to Texas that I found out that St. Louis isn't as known as mid, very mid. St. Louis isn't as known as us St. Louisans like to believe. Like we really are the main character in our own story, and it's nuts because I got here and the amount of people that asked me where St. Louis was, I was just taken aback. I was confused. Like, how do you not know that? Um, True, better than Idaho. I've never been to Idaho, but that sounds boring as hell. Um, but yeah, like, and when you're in St. Louis, you think that you're a part of one of the major cities. Like, we feel like people know us like they know Atlanta, like they know Cali, like they know Texas. So it's funny. But yeah, my brother was expanding his real estate business. He was just newly engaged, and him and his fiance, now wife, wanted to come down here and start their family. And me and my brother are super close. We had businesses together and all types of stuff. I helped out with his business. He's helped out with mine. And because I'm a graphic designer by trade, as long as I got a computer, graphic designer and a photographer. As long as I have a computer and a camera, I can be anywhere. And I was tired of St. Louis. St. Louis in the pandemic was a lot for me. Like I live downtown and we're not in St. Louis anymore, no facts. um I live downtown and it was like during the pandemic everybody was just trying to kill each other. Like we are known for some violence and some stuff like that, but it had gotten out of control. Or maybe I was just way closer to it than I was used to. And then, you know, typical 20-year-old breakups and lost friends, all that kind of stuff. I was just over it. I'm like, let me start over. So whether I want to like say it out loud or not, I was running from a past life, not a dramatic past life, because I have lived an uneventful life. I am 30 now. So I'm exactly 30 now. I will be 31 and let's see what's today. Today's the 19th. A little over a week. Um so yes. Normally people think I'm younger, which I will accept until 30 and flirty. No, not really flirty. Um but yeah, so I was running from, I don't know what I was running from. I just wanted to start over. And I'm like, I don't know nobody in Texas. Let's go. I had literally only visited Texas maybe once before I moved here. Texas in general. Like I had been to Dallas a couple years ago for work and I literally didn't do anything outside of the hotel. So I knew nothing about Texas. So that's what I mean when I say unprepared. We just picked up and left. All we knew was the townhouse that we finally got approved for after I went off on people. And then the office building that we were renting, because all of us had businesses, and we were like, okay, if we're coming down here to expand our businesses, let's help each other. So we all got an office building together. Great idea, poor execution. I will go into that again in more detail on the channel. Um, and not in a drama type of way, because again, these are my friends, these are my family. Um, so I will approach it more from the perspective of like things you need to think about before you decide to do some dumb shit like this. But yeah, that was a lot. And so when I got here, I didn't know anybody besides the people I lived with. We were living together and working together, so that caused a lot of tension. Long story short, um, then I moved out. Well, everybody moved out eventually, but yeah, no, for real. Lack of sidewalks. I haven't. So the heat is different. I really do believe that Texas is closest to the sun, and I thought it was the closest to the sun until a few weeks ago. I went to St. Martin, so you can see the like you probably can't see it on camera for real, but I am peeling like a snake. I've never had sunburn like this before. The St. Martin sun was different, and they warned us, but I'm like, girl, we're coming from Texas, like it can't be that much worse. No, I will never not leave the house without sunscreen again. um Sunburn hurts. Like I have never experienced anything like this in my life. Like it was painful to take a shower. um but anyways, yes, so once we all moved out, and everybody kind of just like started doing their own thing, I realized that like, how do I put this? Like those that family that I had built in St. Louis wasn't going to be enough to sustain the new life that I was trying to build here in Texas. And again, that sounds dramatic. Like I wasn't trying to like necessarily reinvent myself. It was more like a finding myself, maybe. Um, and like just getting rid of old bad habits and stuff like that. So, but when you grow up with people and they know you as you, when you start changing things, like that's weird to them. And like some people understand, some people don't. But I definitely went through a period of isolation, where I just had to like figure out what I needed, because I've definitely had historically been a person like, you call me, I'm dropping everything and I'm there for you. And I started to look around and like I'm not getting that same energy back. And I don't think it's because nobody wanted to. Some people have bad intentions, but the most of the people that are around me, I don't believe they have bad intentions. It's just like this was the dynamic that I created. I became dependable. Ashley ain't never doing it in college. She can be there. She can help you in a bind. Like that's what it was. And so I realized I didn't want to be that anymore. But in order to change that, like I had to separate myself a little bit from the things that were enabling that behavior. Because now I was like craving um, things from other people, and they weren't in the position to like understand that right then and there, because they still needed me to be the old Ashley. My bad. Anyway, I'm talking a lot, but what was my point with that? I think I was saying that like in that season of isolation, I started to crave a new community. Um, and to wrap back around to where I started, um, I feel like I've been pushing and tugging to like try to get this sense of community. I'm not even gonna say I've been pushing and tugging, because I haven't done much to fix it. Yes, I have like made friends here, or even reconnected with friends that I had in St. Louis that now live here too, and we've become much closer than we were even back home. But I'm still craving this sense of like community, that I feel like I haven't found. Again, the caveat is I don't think I've been looking very hard, but I also feel like you want it to be organic. Like I don't want to force myself into spaces and places that um I'm not meant to be. I don't want to rush anything. Um so anyway, um I feel like after ooh, ah, this is gonna be hard for me to create a YouTube channel because I gotta somewhat be vulnerable. Lord. So anyway, I came here, I made friends, have been in a relationship that was amazing. I have no complaints there. It's not ongoing anymore, but like, you meet people and it hurts and all that. There's good parts and there's bad parts, whatever. And so I met people through him, and I feel like they became part of my community. But like, with a breakup, how do you keep those mutual friends? So now I feel like I'm back at square one, right? Um, where now I'm like craving this group of friends, this community, and I don't know where to go looking for it. So I feel like Holy Spirit has been telling me that it's my calling to build it. And that's wild to me because how can I build something I've never experienced? Like I've had friends before, like I've had very close friends. I've had friends of decades. Um but not as this new Ashley, not as like a more emotionally and mentally stable Ashley. So I don't know. I feel like I'm being called to build a community. I don't know how to build a community, but I feel like that's where this idea came from, and this is the start. This is my attempt. And I don't know. I feel like you can't. Nobody can get what they need. Nobody can get what they need without being vulnerable. So even though that's the hard part of like showing up on social media, and I feel like there's a very, very thin line between like telling too much and oversharing and telling just enough to fulfill like whatever you're here to fulfill. I feel like people need to get close to you in order for you to impact them. Like you can impact people to an extent from a distance, but I don't know. I'm not in the I'm not interested in like going viral and like impacting millions of people with something that's like very shallow and very um I don't know, like I'd rather be able to reach out and touch the people that need me, that need my voice. So this is my attempt to build a small community of people that might be, I don't know, just going through the same types of things I'm going through in life. The good and the bad, the business, the personal, the whatever. So yeah, y'all not used to talking. I be at home by myself all day. I also don't expect makeup tutorials because I know nothing about makeup. I'm doing random stuff right now. It's a Friday. I don't have anything to do. I'm probably supposed to be working, but working from home, I've always worked from home, but I don't know, like it's starting to get tiring or maybe boring. Like I have too many distractions at home. And I know it's like trendy right now to say, but like I really do think I have undiagnosed ADD, ADHD, whichever one. That's how you know I need to do more research because I don't know the difference. Um, yeah, I don't even have everything I need. BRB. Once again, I know nothing about makeup, so don't ask me about the order of any of this. Also, I am very tanned, and I don't know if any of my makeup is the correct shade. But again, we're gonna work it out on camera with lighting and whatnot. I actually wasn't supposed to do this much. I was just supposed to be like covering my dark spots so that I can film this video. But I'm in no rush. I'm like actually blown away that there was at least like 4 people on here at one time and that somebody was actually talking back to me. I don't mean that to sound like, oh my gosh, I need friends. I'm just very new to the online space in which people actually want to hear what you have to say and like talk back to you. Like y'all, I'm starting a YouTube channel, but I've never been live on Instagram. Well, at least not by myself. Like I've done talks or like been a guest on somebody's things, but that's usually always business related. Like I've been on plenty of podcasts and stuff like that, and it's, I don't know, it's easier for me to talk about business than it is for me to talk about anything personal. So this shall be interesting. And I think the funny part is like that's what I'm most excited about. Like really, really stepping out of my comfort zone here. And once again, a very unplanned way. But I honestly feel like that's the best way for me. Like I can do a little bit of planning or like outlining, if you will. But something being too planned out, this sunburn is still peeling. That is so gross. Um Something too planned will make me overthink. And I'm definitely an overthinker. So I do invite you. I already have a YouTube channel. Again, it's more business. I have talked about personal things on there before. Like there are 2 videos about my health journey. So in the midst of all of this, of like running multiple businesses by myself, being almost a freaking starving entrepreneur, starving artist, yes, things have been hard. They've always been enjoyable, but I feel like things change. This is really bothering. I feel like it became less enjoyable when I got diagnosed with a very rare blood cancer in 2018, and I faced my mortality. Um, and I don't know. I think things just got very negative. Like, cause me, like how did I get cancer? And for it to be a rare one that like you can't see it, you can't, like nobody's ever heard of it. That took a toll on me mentally. As much as I like try to act like it didn't, it really did. And I feel like I didn't talk about, it's one of those things like I grew up in the church, y'all. So not only did I grow up in the church, I grew up in private um religious schools. So it's like don't claim that. So I just didn't talk about it with people. And I feel like keeping all of that in took more of a toll on me than I expected. I'm used to keeping things to myself, but that was a big one. And it's like people knew about it, but I just didn't talk about it because the word cancer makes people uncomfortable. And at this point, I'm like, look, I'm not necessarily here to make everybody comfortable. It took me a long time to realize that um, the people that will give a fuck supposed to stop cussing. The people that are supposed to be here and that care and that have some compassion and some understanding and like whatever I might need in that moment, they gonna be there. um Anybody else, I probably still love you, but it might have to be from a distance, and I have to stop acting like this is not a huge part of my life because it is. I don't necessarily think about it every day, not in the sense of like, oh my god, I have cancer, but it does affect my everyday. Like it's a blood cancer. It's a blood disorder, and I believe that it's caused me to have high blood pressure. My energy is so low most times. Um, my skin is different. Like in the little ways, I'm reminded every day. Like with the just the way that it manifests physically. Um, but I think people feel like, well, you don't look like you have cancer, or you don't. Do you feel like you have cancer? Like, I don't. What is that supposed to feel like? Like, I'm not on chemo. I feel like that's when people think cancer, they think chemo patients. Um, and that's what cancer is supposed to look like. And because I don't look like that, it's not that I want you to treat me like I have cancer, but like, I don't know. It's like a level of compassion for the things. And I, it's because it's so hard to explain when you can't see, when it's rare. So, like, one example, and then I'm going to shut the hell up, is that one of the things that I've had to change about my life that's directly related to the cancer, but doesn't seem like it, is drinking. Now, I'ma still drink. Is this mic on? I'ma still drink. I just don't drink as much as I used to, like at all. Um, and even before, I was a social drinker. Like I don't like alcohol, y'all. Like I like a good mixed drink. I even like a good shot of tequila these days. Back in the day, it was whatever was free or whatever was available. Um, but like I don't like being drunk. I like being tipsy, but like past that, I'm miserable. And I was out like even in college when like everybody was drinking, like when I was drunk every day and still getting up and going to work and like early in the morning, like even then I felt awful. And I'm like, dang, I didn't even drink as much as other people drank. And yet I feel like I'm going to die. Like most people can drink and they don't feel bad until the next day. The thing that I didn't know wasn't necessarily normal is that there are days where I can take a sip and I'm instantly feeling awful. Like I feel the hangover while I'm still drunk, if that makes sense. And one of the things that I didn't pay attention to until after my diagnosis is that alcohol thins your blood. Now I'm about to go into a whole explanation. Okay, long story short about the type of cancer that I have, it is a blood cancer called polycythemia vera. I have, in layman's terms, my blood is thicker than the average person. So I don't know how long I've had it. It's one of those like it could be genetic, it could be a mutation. I believe I have a mutation. But what causes the mutation, we don't know. Like it's all this unknown stuff, right? So I don't know at what point my blood got this thick, right? But I don't know if drinking makes it too thin. I don't know how long I've been living and used to my blood being thick, right? So at least the way that I process this information is like let's say I've been living half of my life, 15 years, with my blood being thicker. I got used to operating in my body in that way. But when I drink, it thins and my body is like, what's going on? Like it feels awful. On the contrary, though, there are times where I can drink or like I can have a headache, like right now. This is another thing. This is going to be, there's two videos on my channel already that kind of go into detail about this. But one of the biggest symptoms that like tipped me off to the fact that I'm like, there's something going on was that I would have migraines and headaches all the time. And people thought I was exaggerating. Things like Tylenol could numb it, but I always had a headache. Like that is not an exaggeration. I can cry thinking about it. I would go days, weeks, months without any relief, right? And it got to the point where I just was operating that way. Like I was used to having a migraine. And I don't know, that's just like how I lived for a very long time. And then I started getting help for it, or at least looking for help. And doctors are nuts. I actually self-published a book a couple years ago about my journey to finding out that I had cancer, and like some of the bullshit that came along with that, um, that had to deal with dumbass doctors. Um, I was always in pain. And so in college, I believe that's when the mutation happened, because I would drink and it would help the pain. Like, that's how alcoholics are made. Like, I fully understand this was a physical pain and not an emotional pain like most people are trying to numb. But like, I think that's when my blood was like too thick. And so when I would drink, even just a little bit, I would get a little relief. Then I'm like, okay, cool. But nowadays, where I'm actually on medication, well, not really. There's not a lot of treatment for this, but I've had phlebotomies and I've had, I'm supposed to take 2 aspirin a day. The Lord is still working on me because I don't follow directions. And I'm on high blood pressure medicine. But so I think those things have kind of like, excuse me, evened my blood out, whatever even means in my world. And so now when I drink, I don't know if it makes it too thin, and then I just feel awful. So it's like, you fix one thing, you break something else, whatever. Um, how I got to this part of the conversation, I don't know. I don't remember. Um, oh, I think I was just saying that like I had to change certain things, and people don't like, if I just say, "Oh, like I'm not drinking today," your group of friends who are used to you being drunk with them will see it as like, "Why you being weird? Are you pregnant?" Like that type of stuff. They don't. I don't want to always have to go into a whole spiel about my blood being thick and what alcohol does to your system. Like nobody wants to do that. So I'm saying all that to say, like, though it is a burden on me, how can I expect people to respect it if I don't talk about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I do feel like if someone says like, I don't want to partake in something, you should still respect it. But these, if I consider these people to be my friends, like, I don't know, there's a level of vulnerability that I need to be willing to have. And most people, like the people that I consider my close friends, like they get it. If I say I'm not drinking today, like there are days when I can tell before we even get out that this is not a drinking day. And then there are other times where I'm ready, I'm trained to go. Like it depends. And that came with um a little maturity, because I used to refuse to listen to my body. Like how did I live from, I don't even remember. I remember my first like issues with headaches being like in high school, but it didn't really start to affect my life until college. So I went to college in what, 2010, came out into 2014, wasn't diagnosed in 2018. So like almost 10 years of being in constant pain. And like even right now I have somewhat of a headache, and I have to remind myself that like, um Ashley, you don't have to ignore this no more. Like, you know the issue. Like, go do what you need to do. Um, but because I've almost trained my body to like ignore the pain, sometimes I push through it too long. And then by the time I take some medicine, like I'm about to die. Um, and I think it's because I don't want to be dependent on any type of medication. But also the regular things don't work. I don't get a headache and take Tylenol. I don't know what's in Tylenol, but that's like sugar water to me. It does not affect my level of pain. So I have to take things like Excedrin, caffeine. I'm a coffee drinker, y'all. So if I've already had 2 cups of coffee and I have a headache, and the only thing that's gonna help is an Excedrin, I'm gonna be up for the next 3 days. Like, so sometimes I have to like, can I just push through this little headache? Like, it's not a migraine yet. Can I just push through this and get some sleep, and I might be good in the morning? Like sometimes it really is a gamble. It's annoying, but it's something that I've had to accept, and you can't really navigate it until you accept that it's a part of your life and that it's important. Like even in 2018 when I like found out that this was a thing for me, I was so happy of like, okay, bet I got answers. But I didn't do I wasn't following the doctor's direct. Like I really just wanted to know what the fuck I wanted to know that I wasn't crazy. And that was enough for a while. I was still in pain because I wasn't following directions, but also there wasn't a lot of directions. So the other this could be a whole YouTube video, y'all. I'm gonna have to redo this. But um the other crazy thing, not only is this a rare disease, it normally doesn't manifest in people until they're older. So like what I was diagnosed with at 26 or something like that, most people weren't diagnosed until they were like 60. It doesn't usually affect people until they're older. And so doctors that the doctors that treat these are NPN specialists. I'm not going to try to pronounce what NPN stand for, but so they're used to seeing people who are 60 and older, and their remedies are like take a nap, don't leave the house today. Like it's very much like a matter of fact. So at 26, I'm like, take a nap. I got three businesses and a full-time job and a part-time job. I got friends to see, things to do. People like I was still very much I wouldn't say an active person because I am an introvert, so I don't have much of a social life. But like I still wanted like my business was my baby. That was everything to me and I moved very quickly. Um this shit stopped me in my tracks and I think that's what affected me most, the like mentally, is like I can't even work the way I used to. And for me it was fucking me up mentally because I'm like work is just me sitting at a computer. I barely have to talk to people. Like photo shoots an hour tops, I'm on my feet. So like why can't I get through that? Like why is my energy so messed up? That was messing me up mentally because I'm like, am I lazy? Like I have to keep reminding myself that like I have a different body now. Like I have to adjust. And so I have rebuked hustle culture. Even though I think still internally I am that person. Like I have so many ideas, so many things I want to do. And I get all my ideas out like while I have the energy, and then I'm like, and that shit sit on the paper because I have nothing left. Um, but yeah, there's so much that I want to do, and I think this is going to be the catalyst of me just trying it, like not waiting until it's perfect, not waiting until it's fully thought out. Because look at how this turned out. I am in Dallas having a great time. Now again, it's not how I imagined it, but I'm so happy I did it. Like I almost still can't believe I moved away from home and like restarted my life. Sometimes I'm like, girl, you lost your mind, but I'm not moving back. And now like my nephew is here, still trying to get my parents to move here. Um yeah, like I have no plans to move back home. And so whatever this looks like I had to adjust the plan that didn't exist. But you know how you have an idea of how something's gonna go in your head and it doesn't go that way and you be ready to give up? No, we just gonna make a new plan. We're just going to make a new plan. So this was supposed to be me just randomly talking while I got ready to record my actual YouTube intro video. I keep saying intro like I haven't had a YouTube for years. There's already an intro on there, but I definitely think I have changed. The things that I'm interested in has changed, and I wasn't consistent with it the first time. So, but now I have nothing but time. I literally sit here with cameras around me all day, And the fear of sounding stupid, the fear of like not being interesting enough was something that always stopped, because I don't live that much of an exciting life, to me, at least not like the people that I follow. But um I still very much believe that I have a lot of random knowledge. Like I'm definitely the person that people come to, like, to ask random questions, and I have the answers. So like I feel like I still have a lot to share, and this is gonna be me like figuring out how to grow into being vulnerable in front of a camera or in front of people in general, or just sharing, being extroverted, if you will. Um, because the people that know me, they like, girl, you are not quiet, you are not an introvert. But once I know you, once we there, we locked in, and you gonna see every inappropriate side of me. But um I don't know. So figuring out what that balance looks like. I'm also on a very, I said earlier that like I was raised in the church, and I've always went to private Christian schools, and I have, over the course of these 30 years of life, run towards God, ran away from Him, ran towards Him again, kind of fucked with Him, kind of didn't. He's also working on me and my cussing. Um, and now I'm like sprinting. Like I'm not a runner, y'all. I believe that you should not run unless you're being chased. Though I was a distance runner and played soccer most of my life, I think I just out I outran myself then. I don't have a reason to run now, but I am now sprinting full speed toward God, and it's a little strange for me. Like, have you ever? It feels taboo for me because I always felt like my faith was something that was like my business. Like I didn't have to talk about that. And like I don't know, I guess it felt normal because everybody else around me growing up were believers too. Like the only friends I had also went to a Christian school with me. So like I don't know, I guess I took that for granted, and never found a reason to talk about my faith. Although I was a rebel in these religious schools. I got kicked out of almost every religion class for asking too many questions. That some stuff just didn't make sense to me, and I needed to understand. Um, and recently, I don't know, because a lot of stuff is going on in my life, stuff that I don't understand what's happening, but like the feeling is so strong, or the push is so strong, or like whatever. I've just been trying to find these answers for myself. And one thing that I realized, and then I'm gonna shut up for real this time, is that being raised in the church and being raised in Christian schools, yes, I had memorized the Bible, at least big, like I've read the Bible, right? The catechisms. That's another thing. I have a lot of religions in my background. Um, I've read them. I've memorized huge chunks of the Bible and the catechisms and like all those things. And I don't think it hit me until 30 years old that that's just reciting. That's just regurgitating. Like I was watching the Know For Sure podcast with B. Simone and Megan Ashley, and they were interviewing Emmanuel Hudson, out of all people, a random not random, but like a comedian. And he said, I could tell you what the Bible says, but you need to go see for yourself. Like you need to go read for yourself. And I'm like, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm seeing for myself. My faith can't be reliant on what my grandmothers believed or what my mother and my father believed. Like I know all of my family to be believers. Um, I've always felt like that was enough. But I'm like, what do I actually know? Like I've been watching sermons and like in church a lot more. But again, I've always gone to church. I've always listened to sermons. Like these are things that I've always done, but my eyes are seeing differently, my ears are hearing differently, my mind is interpreting differently. And so I'm like hearing stories and I'm like, that's what like people reading verses and like talking about things that happen in the Bible. And I'm like, did I skip over that part? Like, I now have to go see for myself. And I truly believe that, like, my eyes are being opened to things about myself, things about the world, things about God. And it seems heavy and overwhelming, but I know that it's all for a reason. Like, that type of peace, the type of peace of like, there's already a book that has all the answers. Like, that's crazy. It's so funny to hear myself talk like this because I am a panicker, y'all. Like, all of my life, I've been such a warrior, like, worrier, anxious as hell. But none of my circumstances have changed. I still have cancer. I still can't keep a freaking relationship. I still have, businesses that are like in seasons of struggle, and like none of my circumstances have changed, but somehow I have a different level of peace. And now I want to document it. So again, this was supposed to be me randomly chatting for like 15 minutes while I got ready to record this video. Now I've been on here for 45 minutes telling everything that was supposed to be in the original video. So I'm gonna post this on YouTube. I will be back on Twitch. I love this. I actually had someone talk back to me today. That's kind of cool. Um, but I'm gonna stay persistent because at this point it's therapeutic for me. My therapist is gonna be so proud of me. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep talking to myself until my community that I'm trying to build finds me, until my people find me. Or I go find my people. I don't know. This is going to be a journey. So come along with me. I don't know how to do anything on Twitch, so I don't know how to tell you like how to follow me on any of the things, YouTube or anything. But all of my social media platforms are the same. By Ashley Nicole. So y'all look for me there while I figure out how this technology works. And I'm excited. So hopefully I can welcome you into my community. I don't know what we're going to be called or anything, but the YouTube channel is now going to be called Seeking Alignment because I feel like that is the general theme of what my life has been, seeking alignment. There have been things that I've said yes to, things that I've said no to, and it all comes back to like what felt aligned with my purpose. Um, and there's so many layers to that. So anyway, love y'all. Thank y'all. See you on YouTube.